Referee for this match tonight is Stephen Clark. Illawarra, they have to win, and then hopefully in a couple of days' time, from their point of view, Balmain to pull off what would be the shock win of the year. So Illawarra, they bring the ball back on the first set of 6, and Fritz it is. He's tied up about 9 metres out from his line. Johnston.
Reason I could think of. Might go in halves or something.
Johnston, not to be denied, launches himself at the Newcastle defence. Callaway looks for Fritz. And you got it right when you mentioned that he'd be playing for a Kangaroo spot tonight. He's been involved in everything so far. Cross! Simon! Simon's just inside the 20-metre line. Callaway. Farah. Through the hands. Glenair. Flick pass. Good stuff. Pincinelli. A metre from the line.
Great tackle there from Steve Crow as a try saver. They've got a line to the right.
Simon puts it along the line. Farah pushes it on. Cross goes back in. Little ball away for Paul McGregor. He gets it off. Farah gives it on. Crosses with it again. Newcastle not putting the man down. Play by Cross, 10-metre line. Simon, long pass, air. Riolo now, able to unload. Glenair it is who plays it. Simon decides to go to the air. It's a good bomb. And a penalty to Newcastle. It's against the Illawarra players being in front of the kicker and coming inside the 10.
All inside the 10.
He knows he shouldn't let those things happen. Sidelines now with Steve.
Yes, Illawarra not that enthusiastic early in this match for a side that can still possibly make the final 5. There's absolutely no talk at the moment from the Illawarra side.
Talking of talk, we'll touch on Steve's role, I would imagine, next Friday, later in the Oh! Another big one on Johnston.
It was Steve Crow again forcing the mistake. Newcastle with the ball. That's Johnson well and truly
he's got to be penalised. Johnston, he was in Disneyland. He saw a red and blue jumper, so he grabbed it. My God, he took a hit.
Well, he's been binned for 10 minutes. That's pretty harsh. Johnson had a few words to say after the penalty. There's no doubt that he was offside. I don't know whether he was still recovering from the hit. It was a good one from Steve Crow. Normally it's Johnson giving these ones out. Ball came out. He stood straight up. Sargent got out from dummy half. Peter Johnson, well, wouldn't be surprised if he's had something to say to the referee, and that's earned him 10 minutes in the bin if the referee was in two minds.
Well, this kick for Andrew Johns. We'll see him surpass John Schuster's points in a season record for the Knights. 152 set in 1992. And the first points of the game go to the Knights. Off the boot of Andrew Johns, they lead 2-0 after 9 minutes of Friday Night League. Right on the halfway line, Simon comes back to the side of the ground where he had less players. And Fritz was outnumbered by Newcastle defenders. That indicates there's more Illawarra players on this side of the ground. It's with McGregor. He flick passes back for Jody Rudd. He tried to step inside the defence there of Muir. He wasn't successful. Glanville came in with Crow. They completed the tackle. Simon works on the blind. McGregor finds himself in space. The support arrives, and Simon couldn't pick it up.
There was a magnificent tackle there by, I think you'll find it's Mark Glanville, arguably Newcastle's best player over the last 3 years.
Tough, unstoppable, never say die, and turn the other cheek if at first you don't succeed. Matthew Johns showing it, and then Muir, then Johns. Great support play, then across to his brother. He goes for the line. O'Davis, he gets the cream. Robbie O'Davis. The Johns brothers. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, it's great work there from Newcastle. That had probably been coming for a little while. And again, the catalyst was the 6 and 7. But it was great support play from the number 1, Robbie O'Davis. Beautiful ball left to Adam Muir. Doubled around Matthew Johns, stayed alive. Select pass back on the inside. It was a line ball one. There's Callaway trying to come up. And then a lovely little offload to Robbie O'Davis, who again has been up looking for the football every time they've had possession. But aren't these players of the future? Matthew and Andrew Johns, a bit little off late here at the end. No dramas at all.
And Illawarra out wide always seem to have problems in defence, and we've seen it the last couple of weeks, and once again there tonight. There was man on man. They couldn't control what Newcastle were doing, and these players, the Johns boys and O'Davis, have finished it off nicely. Newcastle all over the Steelers at the moment.
I'd say plenty of Brisbane players and supporters very keen to see this scoreline. Wouldn't that take some pressure off? They could afford a loss against Balmain on Sunday if the Knights can get the money tonight. Now one team who are being supported by north of the border.
Andrew Johns, he adds to the joy of Brisbane and the woes of Illawarra. After 25 minutes, Newcastle 8. Doing it for that man, I guess, more than anybody else. 8-0 over Illawarra. He's been a real target tonight for the Newcastle defenders. Pinchinelli, McGregor, they've got the numbers. McGregor tries to get rid of some of the heat by throwing a dummy. Rudders with it. Now Simon! Just inside the 40-metre line. Callaway, one of the success stories for the men in red. This is Air. I like the way he moves, this kid. Australian rep in 91. Under 21 player of the year for Illawarra in 92. And the kick in general play, a race for the ball, and Nigel Roy is denied. Newcastle playing something like the brand of football we saw from them, defeating Brisbane, and prior to that against Penrith at Penrith Park, I thought that was probably their best performance of the year. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, they went off. The use-by date expired, and that was it. Farah's grubbing kick. A bit of urgency for O'Davis, who puts his body on the line. That's not easy.
A very deep line here for Illawarra.
Air to McGregor, the run around, the decoy runner. Riolo rushes away from Herman. Nigel Roy, he can see the corner. Will he make it? Yes! Nigel Roy gets it down. It's a try. A set play that worked with absolute precision for the Illawarra Steelers.
Yes, the depth was a key element for Illawarra there. The run around, again, proved very fruitful, but a bad missed tackle. I think you'll find it was Herman who gets stood up here. There's the second man pass. It's still one-on-one there. David Riolo on Herman. Riolo inside his man, set up Nigel Roy. Mark Glanville there in cover as he's been all night, but a very, very good change of pace from Nigel Roy to stand up the lock forward.
Yes, he did well there, Roy, to get over the line. There was a bad mistake there made by, I think it was O'Davis, who went in on a play. He didn't have to, he was already tackled. And over in the corner goes the Steelers for their first try of the night.
Wishart with a difficult assignment. Wishart then from the sideline. It doesn't look too bad. Oh, it's a great kick. He knows something about pressure. 8-6 Newcastle now.
Well, any Kangaroo selector who's watching that kick will think, hey, he can play, he can kick. That he might get a start on this tour. There was an incident there where I think it was Herman went in. Rudd had plenty of work to do. And look, Mark Glanville, great chase by a great lock forward.
Newcastle restarting then, and the try scorer brings it back on the first set of the new set. Nathan Barnes in the number 3 shirt. As the ball comes across, Matthew John sends Andrew on the run-around mission, and McGregor read the play. He put all his cards on the table. McGregor, he made the tackle on O'Davis. Andrew Johns goes back. 12 metres out from the line, the siren in the background, the ball comes out, didn't hit the referee, it's been cleaned up anyway, and Clark calls time, with Newcastle leading at the break, 8 points to 6. It was very nearly an 8-0 lead But then that try coming just a couple of minutes ago for Nigel Roy has put a bit of respectability into the score line for Illawarra. Short price favourites to win this game. But Newcastle playing a bright, enterprising brand of football here at Steelers Stadium. Peter will be joined by Blocker for the half-time summation. That'll happen in just a moment. Don't go away, we're back with more Nines Rugby League in just a moment. Accolades for Ian Russell a couple of seasons back. We're talking Rothman's medal, I think, from memory. We're talking Kangaroos. And there he is back now in a first-grade shirt after wallowing in the lower grades. I don't think he's lost any of his skills ever. It's just maybe he lost a bit of intensity in his own delivery. Simon's kick bounces just outside the 20-metre line for O'Davis.
Well, there was no doubt, Ray, the hamstring was a real problem. It became chronic. He missed a lot of football. They're difficult to get over. I've watched him play the last couple of weeks. He's been very good, looks mobile.
Just inside the 10-metre line. Newcastle wide to the left. They've got a set play on for Andrew Johns. He tries to push away from Andrew Farah. Gets it back for Matthew, the brother. He's on the 20-metre line. They're losing ground. Glanville, he's out of a tackle and is taken eventually by John Simon and John Cross, and they put him to the ground eventually. They keep going to the blind side. Matthew Johns keeps it low. A very well-weighted kick. Herman goes in for it, but it's a line dropout. Tony Herman is injured and David Riolo is not healthy either.
Oh, great kick that, nearly scored them a try.
To be a part of the Johns machine, if I can describe it that way. And why wouldn't you be? Richards, clean break, in space, inside the 10. He'll go all the way, will he? No, he's short by a metre. Not even that. What good committed run by Richards. McCormack at receiver. Andrew Johns, Matthew. Sargent ran the decoy and Farah umbrellaed up in defence. The Knights again. Glanville stands and offloads. There's a try. Andrew Johns gets in. Newcastle leading 12-6 now.
Well, the Knights not getting up off the line there, able to get the football away. This was a bust. Ian Russell, a very bad miss there. Wayne Richards looked like he was going to go all the way, but a try saver from Roy and Riolo. And then from the next ruck, you'll see here, Glanville goes to blind. As we freeze it there, now this player here, I think it's Andrew Farah, hasn't reacted. You can see that the player coming in for Newcastle is going to take advantage of the fact that the number 6 was lazy. By the time he'd reacted, Andrew Johns had got through the gap. Ordinary defence on the inside of the ruck. So often we see it lead to tries.
Johns converts. That happened half an hour ago and you had to bring it back up again. Thanks very much. I'm glad you're not an enemy. 14-6, the Knights over the Steelers at Steelers Stadium, adjacent to the Wollongong Ocean.
Newcastle 14, Steelers 6.
And now Peter Johnston. Big pass required, right into the stomach of young Glen Eyre. Precision stuff from Simon. It's beautiful to watch the precision of the passing of young John Simon and blokes like Ricky Stewart. They can land it on a 5-cent piece, so to speak. Cross keeps it low. It bounces down to the goal line. Herman back 9 metres from his line. 14-6 in favour of Newcastle. Almost the despised outsiders in this match. They were coming into it. My goodness, he's made some big tackles tonight, McGregor, a couple of them. It's as if he's been training with Newcastle all week. His anticipation great. The penalty goes to Illawarra against Newcastle for walking off the mark. So here's a chance for Illawarra. Callaway taking the tap. Where's McGregor going? Across from Simon. It's out with Cross. And they're 8 metres out from the line as Glanville makes the tackle. Simon looks over his right shoulder. And now Clark has found something from Sargent, is it? Or no, it's Godden.
Well, if he put Darren, who was it? The other
Peter
Johnston in the bin in the first half. Why wouldn't he be doing the same for a professional foul here.
They'll take the tap. Simon Johnston on the charge. Hits the line.
This is where Ian Russell has to come into his own.
Russell to the right. Takes a bit of the heat off Simon. Some of the predictability is gone now for Newcastle because they don't know which of these two excellent ball players is going to get the ball. Simon turning it in for Fritz. Darren Fritz. That's how close he is to the line. Callaway, Simon, they've gone back outside the 20-metre line. McGregor flops the ball over. Back now for Riolo. In for Johnston. Johnston pulled down. 11 out from the line. Good defence by Newcastle though. Simon goes open to the blind. Turns it into the centre. Cross. Gets it away. It's no try. It's gone forward, the pass to Callaway.
Well, so close. Again, the referee was in pretty good position there. Dean Callaway backing up. John Simon knew that John Cross was back on the inside. That pass looks fine. Let's have a look at the end one there.
Oh, that's dead set gone backwards.
Yeah, he's reached back to get it, Callaway.
Nothing wrong with that. That's a dead set try. So they've been robbed there, the Steelers.
14-6, the Knights. McGregor leaves it behind. Then he straightens up, gives a pass. Touched by Newcastle, that's play on. Simon is with it. Simon held 32 metres out from the Newcastle line. Penalty. Now this could be the bin. It is. Sin bin for Robbie McCormack.
Got to get Paul McGregor involved. We've got to get Rod Wishart.
Wishart, Peter, as you talk, brushes away. Gets out of a last desperate tackle. But O'Davis is able to stop him long enough. Came away out of that, play the ball like he was fired out of a cannon, Wishart. Delivers for McGregor. Rudd, Fritz stands up there tall, looking to unload. 30 metres out on 5. Simon, will he put it through the hands? He goes to the air. Oh, it's a shocker. Back for Illawarra. And Big Johnston. Inside for Pinchinelli. Outside for Simon. Then for Wishart. And Illawarra score. An unbelievable try. I thought Peter Johnston had bombed it when he didn't go left. He came back right. And I thought, oh, they'll crucify this big man tonight.
But what a great kick this is by John Simon, Rams. Fantastic kick. It goes out wide. And Peter Johnston just having a bloods back on the inside, looks up, no one in front of him, away he goes. Piccinelli's in there. I thought there's a dummy there. He would have scored Piccinelli. But in the end, Wishart out wide. Great Illawarra try. What a kick.
Peter Johnston's the last player on the last tackle you want with the football in his hands. He's a fine player, but not when the kicking game is involved. Piccinelli had a man on his inside in Callaway who would have scored under the post. This just makes it a little bit more difficult for Wishart, and that's why you can see Herman was spoken to after the try was scored. There was a knee around the head area of Wishart in scoring the try.
Has he ruled it an 8-point try, Sterling? Do you know?
Well, I haven't seen the ruling, but...
Well, he didn't mark the spot with a touch, Judge. Not that I saw. That's normally the indication that it is on. You're right about that Pinchinelli incident. I was giving Johnston the criticism for not passing left instead of right. It was Pinchinelli, really. But anyway, they got themselves over the line. But the point is, they could have scored it under the uprights. And what about that kick,
Kick for his outside man.
I call it a shocker. Here's Wishart then, not to be denied. He puts it over the red dot here. So now we've got that finish that I was talking about. Newcastle by 2 points, 63 minutes gone. And in no small way due to the performances of Matthew Johns and Andrew. This is Andrew Johns. He gets his kick in as Illawarra put a bit of pressure on him, but this is good field position for Illawarra now. Wishart tackled on the first, on the halfway line. Barnes almost incurs a penalty. Russell for Simon. Simon jinks and tries to get between them. Have a look at the strength of John Simon. Wonderful player. Very strong. Russell, air, tricks out wide. And now Illawarra, they fan wide and deep back to the right, with Wishart on the end of it and McGregor getting deeper. Russell. Now McGregor comes up from a deep position out wide, as if he might be going to run the decoy. Pinchinelli, 25 metres out from the line. The last is on.
It's been successful once. You'd put the ball into the air again with a good chase. Simon to the right of the ruck. They've got a penalty.
Well, do they take the kick? What was it? 89. Don't say it too loud.
Well, you've got to be humble.
Well, that's right. 2 from 2 for Wishart, and he gets it. So 14 points all now. 69 minutes gone. Looking at the timepiece.
He's called the football now, Andrew Johns, but he's going to the back line. It was a good opportunity, that. Might not have it. Last tackle here. There'll be plenty of pressure coming through.
In actual fact, it's the other Johns boy. He'll have a lash. Left footer. Oh, he's missed. Bad luck for the Knights there. They could have gone to the lead.
McCormick now using Matthew Johns. Sargent off of the decoy. Muir gets it away. Did it go forward? No. Godden goes outside, though, inside the 30-metre line. Andrew Johns comes in, crosses the 20-metre line. They're 15 out now. Newcastle on the last tackle. Matthew Johns, Robbie Davis, a face ball intercepted, and one of Illawarra's heroes. He's away. The try they've been begging and praying for comes for their favourite son, Rod Wishart.
And it's deja vu. The same thing happened last year with Rod Wishart scoring 2 years ago against Manly at this very ground. Scored, no, was it? It was actually a Brook
It was Michael O'Connor's send-off.
That's the one.
You're close.
He spoilt the party that night too.
Well, Rod Wishart, everything on the line here, got up into the back line of Newcastle. They looked like they had to score. In fact, I don't think the cutout pass was what was needed. If the Knights had have gone bang, bang through the hands, I think they score. Wishart, he was on his own. There was no support players in defence with him. And look at that. Luck's a fortune.
In actual fact, you know, when Newcastle got the ball here, I thought that Matthew Johns had plenty of time. He was 10 metres out right in front of the sticks to snap for that field goal. Instead, they got greedy. They saw the space out wide, and this is the end result. Rod Wishart, good memory there, Pete. Was it, what, 4 or 5 years ago? At a, what?
2 years ago, and I know how
Dapto Centre, was it?
it was important that year, and it may well prove to be again important.
Well, he got Wishart
94.
right. Give him a break. He got 1 out of 4.
That's right.
It's better than he was going at school.
Sixth form were the best 4 years of my life, if you don't mind.
Next Friday, of course, I've been trying to tell you that there'll be many of the great players of rugby league on show in the Legends of League, including the big fellow on the sidelines. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Mate, I'm only playing as I want to play with Arthur. That's the only reason I'm playing, mate. No, it should be good. Be a lot of fun.
20-14 for the record books in favour of the Steelers. You've got some desperates playing with you.
Yes, yeah, mate, it should be good. What about Les Boyd? I'll be happy with that.
What about the face of David Waite there? Just about sums it up for David Waite this year as O'Davis forces the pass. It'll be cleaned up by Illawarra.
They've been running a risk for almost 80 minutes tonight. Walsh held on the 40-metre line. There it is! The siren, the end of the season, perhaps for Illawarra. Certainly for Newcastle. 48 hours for the Steelers to wait approximately to see if Balmain can do them a favour, which would send them into a playoff on Tuesday night. 20 points to 14. They came from the rear. Never really looked like they were going to win, and then all of a sudden they put a bit of polish in their work, and they've come home victorious in front of their crowd in the final round of the Winfield Cup of '94. The end of the season for the Knights. In all probability, the end for Illawarra. And looking at that man, I wonder about what his decision will be. But if this happens to be it, then thank you, Andrew. It's a very humble way of recognising a wonderful career. The Steelers then, they thank their crowd